Welcome to Uncle Tony's Music Theory. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about half steps, whole steps, and the major scale. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to sit down at the guitar or the piano and play a major scale. So let's jump right in. So what is a half step? Well, put quite simply, it's going up or down to the next note. This interval in music is also known as the minor second. Note the lowercase m. If you go up or down as very little as you can, that's a half step. Okay, so the piano has 88 keys. These white keys are known as naturals, and the black keys are sharps and flats. There are exceptions to this. We'll talk about that later. To play a half step, you just play a note, in this case an A, and move up to the next note. That's a B flat or an A sharp. This note A going down to A flat or G sharp. If you start on a black key, the next note a half step away will always be white. And if you notice, there's a couple spots on the keyboard here where there's no black key between them. This is an E and an F, half steps, and B and C sounds like this. If you play from any note an octave up using half steps, this is called a chromatic scale. On a guitar, a half step is rather easy to play. You just play a note and then move up or down on the same string, one fret away. Half step on a guitar sounds like this. Here's another half step. The guitars are cool because you're actually touching the strings that's making the note. On the piano, you're striking a key which hits a hammer, which then hits the string. So you have a little more control. You can actually bend the string enough to do a half step. I'm keeping it in the same fret right here. And you can bend it straight up and down without actually hitting this. You get this sound. To play a chromatic scale on the guitar, you just start here or anywhere and start playing one fret at a time. And back down we go. These boots are made for walking. Let's see what else. Well, I think that's about it. I think you know what a half step sounds like, and I think you can play a half step on a guitar and a piano. So let's move on to whole steps.
And just as you might expect, if you have half a pizza and then you have another half a pizza, you get a whole pizza. The same goes for music. One half plus one half is a whole. Half step plus a half step, that's a whole step. One whole step is two half steps. However you want to think about it.
Here we are at the piano again. Let's do a whole step, and it's just two half steps. Let's start on the A. Here's another whole step. These are all whole steps. Using our math skills again, if one half step is one fret, then one whole step would be two frets. Here's a whole step from C to D. Here's a whole step from F sharp to G sharp. And here's a whole step from E to F sharp. Any two frets on the same string is a whole step. So the interval of a major second or a whole step is the M2 with a capital M. And this is a whole step. Jeez. So we have conquered half steps. We have also conquered whole steps. So now it's time to put them all together and learn how to play the major scale. The major scale is a cornerstone for music theory. And I would also go as far to say that modern music itself is based on the major scale, with exceptions. Knowing the major scale, you'll see how it connects with melodies and harmonies and chord changes and pretty much everything. It's all numbers, and let's learn it. Let's learn the major scale. So there is one major key in music that is special in that there are no sharps and no flats, and that's the key of C major. So what that means is that we can skip over all these black keys and stick right here and play a major scale from this C to that C. It sounds like this. Very familiar sounding to you, right? So if you notice, there's half steps between 3 and 4, and 7 and 8. So you have to remember this number.
Maybe it would help to think of Chicago Bears player Walter Payton, number 34, or that Space Invaders came out in 1978.
Another way to remember how to play a major scale and where your whole steps and half steps are, just look at where the black keys are. Okay, we skipped over all those. So by skipping over them, we're actually playing whole steps. Everywhere we skip them. So the map, the road map for playing a major scale is right here. We play 2 whole steps, then there's our half step, then 3 whole steps, and then another half step. So let's do that in E flat major. 2 whole steps, half step, 3 whole steps, and another half step. So the answer is right in front of you. Okay, so let's try that same pattern on the guitar. I'm going to do it in D, and I'll do it all on the D string so you can see the half steps and whole steps. So think of it in 3, 4, 7, 8 for half steps, or 2, then 3 with whole steps. Let's go. This is probably the least efficient way to play a D scale. I was just doing it so you can see it. Eventually guitar players will learn you can play a D scale here, or here, or here, or here. So there you have it. That is the major scale, and we learned about half steps and whole steps. So for your homework, if you have a guitar sitting around, go ahead and pick it up and play from the open string all the way up to the 12th fret. Play a major scale on all 6 strings. If you have a piano at the house, start on any note, and I recommend doing that in all 12 keys just to get used to using black keys and white keys at the same time. Thanks so much for watching this video today. If you know someone you think might benefit from some of this info, please share this video with them. I have a lot of topics about music theory that I would like to discuss. I'm going to make some more videos. So the next one's going to be all about major and minor chords and the power of the 3. So until then, this is Uncle Tony. See you soon. Stay safe.